On today's Toy Spot, we're going to be having a look at the new Bandai Thundercats Classic figures. Today we're going to be looking at the Lord of the Thundercats. We're looking at Lion-O. I have always wanted a definitive Thundercats line. Sadly, when I was younger, another story spot really, well, that, I think by now you guys know when you come to this channel, you not only get a review, you also get a little bit of a story. Story time, when I was younger, I used to collect, I had Thundercats cartoons, obviously I watched, and I always wanted a Thundercats toy. Well, my friend already had Lion-O, and you know how, you maybe know how the story goes. Your friend talks you in and says, well, I've already got Lion-O, why didn't you get someone else? And I said, well, you know, I really, surprisingly, I had an adult voice when I was little. I said, you know, I really would like a Lion-O. And he's like, well, I've already got a Lion-O. If we play, we can't have two Lion-Os. So this guy went to Toys R Us and bought a Panthro. I bought a Panthro. Yeah, it was fun. I played, my friend had Lion-O, I had Panthro, but at the end of the day, I always wanted a Lion-O. Now, if you jump ahead in time via a time machine, you'll then look at the new Thundercats toys, and what a night and day comparison. I've been waiting so long to get these guys. Can't wait to get this opened up. The toy features 18 points of articulation. One thing I do like about the packaging is the fact that it's open. It's an open front. They've got the very retro Thundercats font at the top there. Thundercats Classics. On the side there, we got Lion-O, Thundercats Ho. I don't know why I said it like that. On the back, it says, roaring back into action, these highly detailed and articulated figures are based on the classic 1980s animated Thundercats series. Includes sword, dagger, claw shield, and extra hand. Create action poses. And as you can see, we've got the Lion-O in the Thundercats Ho stance, I guess. Him also showing off his sword. He's like, hey guys, look at this sword. I just found it, look at it. Down below you can collect them all. Other classic figures you can get right now are Tigra, and then of course the 6 and 4 inch line from the new series, each sold separately. There's very few toys out there that I would say well worth getting two, one to keep sealed, one to open up. But I love the design of the toy packages on these figures, that I would say it's worth probably getting two of them. One to open up for your playing pleasure, and one to keep sealed and have on display. I might even try to pick up another one of these so I can keep it sealed. But what I am going to do though is I'm going to open this up for you guys, and we're going to have a better look at the Thundercats Classics Lion-O. Stay tuned guys, there is more on the way. And now that Lion-O is out of package, wow, what an incredible figure. I think Bandai did a fantastic job on not only designing but manufacturing the figure itself. It, again, leaps and bounds over the original Thundercats toys. Let's get a closer look at Lion-O. Let's zoom into his face. And the first thing you'll notice is a very cartoon accurate head on Lion-O. Right down to that very iconic Lion-O hair. What was Lion-O doing with that hair? I don't know, but I gotta say it looks fantastic. The toy definitely looks like the cartoon. One thing I do like is the coloring on the figure itself. We've got the really light coloring of his tank top or whatever Lion-O was sporting. His skin color is again accurate to the cartoon. Just a great job. The Thundercats symbol looks very cool also. Now there was a Comic-Con exclusive Lion-O as well, And having seen other reviews of it, I can honestly tell you I'm so glad I did not get that Lion-O and instead picked up the retail release of the figure. It perhaps, yes, it had the metallic blue and everything else, but my way of thinking is if it is a classic line depicting how it looked in the cartoon he did not have metallic coloring, nor did he have really horrible paint, extra paint washes on his muscles. He was just a single color. And so to get a single color in the top, in the skin, I think works perfectly, in my opinion, for this figure. Now, it's my opinion as well. If I just put Lion-O here for a second. He just stands there for a second. Just for a second, Lion-O. We'll get right back to you. Of the accessories that Lion-O comes with, of course, he's got the Sword of Omens. Two versions. He's got the smaller dagger. And something I want to touch base on too is also the coloring of this sword. The San Diego Comic-Con was a metallic silver, whereas as you'll notice here, the retail release of the figure has just a matte silver. A lot of people preferred the metallic silver. This guy prefers the dull matte silver. Again, if you're going to release a figure based on the cartoon, in the cartoon he didn't have a shiny metal sword. It was more of a matte color. So to get a matte colored sword for me is perfect. It is rubber, which is also, at least in my opinion, is also a good thing because it's not accidentally going to snap if you've got it in a box somewhere, or, you know, you drop it or whatever like that. But he does come with the dagger Sword of Omens. He does also come with, pan it out in the spot, we can't see all of it. He also comes with a much larger Sword of Omens with the extended blade. Again, I've got a little bit of schmutz all over the blade here. Again, it's a matte silver, which I prefer. It's just my matter of preference, but I do prefer that it's a matte silver versus a metallic silver. Also rubber. It's a rubbery sword blade, whereas the metallic silver seemed to be a solid plastic. The solid plastic, I would be concerned again if this fell or if it was in a box and it leaned against something that could break off, whereas I don't mind it being rubbery. I would rather a distorted sword blade than a broken sword blade. And zoom in, you can see, yes, in fact, once again the Thundercats logo, looking very, very cool. The only thing I probably would have done, if anything, is I would have filled in some of these areas here with the other color that the sword was, instead of just having it silver. But that's a small, small gripe for a very impressive sword. When we factor in what the other Sword of Omens, was it actually silver? I'm trying to remember if the original toy was silver or if it was this horrible red. I think it was like this orangey red, but having a silver sword certainly makes more sense. Other accessories that Lion-O comes with is not one, I grabbed the other one here, comes with two alternate hands. Now he's got one gripping hand, which will serve to replace this hand. He also has one open hand that will replace the claw shield. And what we'll do is we'll just change these out. I'm going to change them out anyways because I want the hand to be able to hold the Sword of Omens. It's just a simple pop off. I would also say be careful. I don't think I've heard many people having this problem, but I'd be a little careful with such a small peg that you don't take the hands off and on and off and on, because you could run the risk. I don't even want to even say it while I'm doing it. Okay, it is on. You could run the risk of bending or snapping that peg. So there we've got the one hand. The other hand, the other arm pops off and you've got the claw shield going there. Poor Lion-O, I'm just picking and pulling this guy apart. Stay there for a second, Lion-O. We'll get to you, don't worry, we'll get to you. The claw shield looks very cool. As a fan, sure I'll nitpick it just a little bit more. It also would have been nice if they had interchangeable, what do you want to call them, knuckle grapple hooks, that you could have actually had one or two of them that you could pull off and put the extension where you could have them deploying them or what have you. Now, as the claw shield, what you can do is there is a little holster on the side of Lion-O's leg. You can take it there where the hole was, if you guys can see it, where the arm plugged into it is a very similar base, a similar peg that you can peg into the holster. Now, I've had the problem a couple of times where this holster wants to pop off once you get it in there. But if you can finagle it just right, finagling it, it's a great word, finagle. I love saying finagle. If you finagle it just right, you can get the holster in there. You have to maybe turn it just a slight bit so it's not gonna get in the way, as it were. There we go. That's what we wanted. Poor Lion-O still is without a hand. So let me give this guy a hand. There would be the alternate hand there. I would be the type probably to keep the claw on the arm rather than keeping the alternate hand, but you can do either or. You can certainly do either or. If I take the claw off, there's a slot right at the top there, and if you take the smaller dagger, you can take the dagger and slide it into the claw, and again you can have it on the side of Lion-O's leg, or you can also have it back on his arm, and you can keep the Sword of Omens, at least in the dagger way. You can keep it on the side of his claw, which again is really, really cool. Might not make much sense if he's got the extended blade in one hand and he's got the smaller dagger in his claw, but it's nice that the option is there. Take that out. In the way of his articulation, Lion-O's head is on a ball joint, so you can move it left and right, up and down. His neck is also on a ball joint, which will allow some additional movement there. He has a pin and socket shoulder, which allow his shoulder to move up, rotate it all the way around. You can rotate at the bicep, you can bend at the elbow, and see, there goes the hand coming off. I think once I've got the grip hand on, I think I'm just going to keep it on. I'm not going to move it around too much. The hand moves at the wrist. You can also bend the hand back and forth. He has a mid-torso bend at the top there. He also has a waist ball joint. His legs can bend out, back and forth. You can rotate at the upper thigh, bend at the knee at 2 points. You can rotate at the boot. You can bend the boot up and down, and you can also rotate at the foot as well. You can certainly get lots of articulation, my friend. Lots. Yeah, there are gripes here and there. There's not really too much. I mean, there is paint that's been missing in some of the joints. I mean, that could be colored all the way in. You'll notice it as well in the wrist section here of Lion-O. But if I look at that and I compare it overall to the figure itself, it's small little gripes versus a fantastic figure. I can't say enough good things about Lion-O here. I'm hoping and praying that they release the rest of the Thundercats as in the Classics line. Maybe one day I'll eventually get another Panthro, and then I can call up my friend and say, yeah, that's right, remember me? Yeah, I got Panthro again. Do you? And he'll say, who is this? And I'll hang up. But Lion-O here, I am going to give a solid 9 to. There's really not much wrong with this figure, and all the while a great flashback to my childhood. This is a great figure, well worth picking up if you can find it. Today's Toy Spot, we were having a look. Snarf would also been nice to include, but I digress. Today we're having a look at the Bandai Thundercats 8-inch Classics Lion-O. Also, as a side note, for anyone who is all that upset with the fact that these are 8-inch figures versus 6, I can understand where your concern is. But again, it's small gripes compared to how cool this figure really is. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you guys next time.